Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Wednesday, February 3, 2021. Al Jazeera report: at least 9 soldiers killed in latest central Mali attack. The Malian army has said at least 9 soldiers were killed and 6 others wounded following an ambush in the country's volatile center. The attack occurred at about 6:15 a.m. 06:15 GMT on Wednesday near the village of Boni in the Mopti region, a hotspot of recent violence. In a Twitter post, the army said it hit back with air support from the French Barkhane Force and the Malian Air Forces. Army spokesman Colonel Souleymane Dembélé told Reuters news agency about 20 attackers were also killed in the force's response.
CNN report: Peeps will be back for Easter after a 9-month hiatus. After a pandemic break, Peeps are back in production for Easter. Candy maker Just Born Quality Confections announced Wednesday that the sugary treats are returning to shelves just in time for the holiday. After a 9-month hiatus because of the pandemic, Just Born decided in April to stop production to protect employees' health as the pandemic took root in the U.S., the company previously told CNN Business.
CNN report: these cities want to give grocery store workers hazard pay. Large grocery chains stopped giving their workers hazard pay for showing up to the job last year. Now, some cities on the West Coast are starting to require it as coronavirus cases rise and the vaccine rollout moves more slowly than anticipated. Seattle and 2 cities in California, Long Beach and Montebello, have passed laws requiring that grocery stores, including chains such as Kroger, KR, Albertsons, Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, give their workers an extra $4 an hour in hazard pay.
Fox report: Russia blasts criticism of Putin critic Navalny's prison term as 1,400 more protesters arrested. Russian authorities on Wednesday shrugged off the massive rallies against the jailing of top Kremlin foe Alexei Navalny and rejected Western criticism as hysterics, as activists reported more than 1,400 new arrests in the crackdown on protesters. A Moscow court on Tuesday ordered Navalny to prison for 2 years and 8 months, finding that he violated the terms of his probation while recuperating in Germany from a nerve agent poisoning.
BBC report: Marjorie Taylor Greene, vote to remove her from House committees. Georgia Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene has praised the bogus QAnon theory, made anti-Semitic comments and liked posts calling for violence. House Democrats announced the vote after Republicans reportedly declined to punish Mrs. Greene for her actions. The decision follows some Republican senators calling for her removal. Top Senate Republican Mitch McConnell issued a rare rebuke on Tuesday, saying that loony lies and conspiracy theories are a cancer to the party.
BBC report: Texas officials apologize after Chucky missing child alert. An Amber Alert message, used to warn of missing children, was sent out featuring the Child's Play villain along with his fictional child, Glenn. Screenshots of the message show the suspect was listed as a doll dressed in denim overalls wielding a large knife. The alert was sent out during a test malfunction, DPS officials said. We apologize for the confusion this may have caused and are diligently working to ensure this does not happen again, they said in a statement to local news outlets.
CNN report: Canada will list the Proud Boys movement as a terrorist group. Canada announced Wednesday that the Proud Boys will be designated as a terrorist entity along with 12 other groups. The Proud Boys will be deemed an ideologically motivated violent extremist group along with 3 others: Atomwaffen Division, the base and Russian Imperial Movement, the government said in a press release. Officials say the move will help Canada freeze the group's financial assets and criminalize financing, training and recruitment for all such groups.
Fox report: Suspect in deadly Florida FBI shooting identified as David Lee Huber, source confirms. The suspect who allegedly shot and killed 2 FBI agents early Tuesday morning in South Florida is 55-year-old David Lee Huber, a law enforcement source tells Fox News. Huber allegedly monitored the FBI agents with a camera as they approached his residence to serve a warrant in a child pornography case, then opened fire through an unopened door, killing 36-year-old agent David Alfin and 43-year-old agent Laura Schwarzenberger.
Deutsche Welle report: AstraZeneca vaccine can slow transmission of COVID-19, Oxford study reveals. A new study has suggested that a single dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine could provide a high level of protection, not just against infection but also against transmission of the virus. Even people who have received the vaccine and are protected from getting sick themselves can sometimes pass the infection to someone else. However, the Oxford University study found that the initial dose of the vaccine could cut transmission of the virus by 2/3.
Deutsche Welle report. German court. Informants handler must stay secret. Opposition parties would not be allowed to question an intelligence officer over the 2016 Breitscheid Square terror attack, Germany's BVG Constitutional Court announced on Wednesday. The judges decided to protect the identity of the officer, who had been in charge of coordinating informants close to the attacker. 11 Christmas market-goers were killed when Islamist Anis Amri drove a hijacked truck amok after killing its driver.
Deutsche Welle report. Most Germans feel pandemic has not drastically changed their lives, survey finds. Despite the lockdown and COVID-19 restrictions, a thin majority of people in Germany still say their lives have not largely changed, according to a survey published on Wednesday. The results come the US-based Pew Research Center. Its researchers surveyed 4,069 adults in the US, France, the UK and Germany at the end of last year. In the US, 74% of people surveyed said the pandemic has changed a great deal or fair amount of their everyday lives.
Al Jazeera report. Continued increase in COVID cases and deaths in LATAM, PAHO. While coronavirus infections are finally decreasing in the United States and Canada after weeks of unrelenting rise, cases and deaths continue to increase in Latin American countries, the Pan American Health Organization (PAHO) said on Wednesday. Last week, over 1.8 million people in the Americas became sick with COVID-19 and more than 47,000 died as a result, PAHO Director Carissa Etienne said in a briefing.
Al Jazeera report. U.S. and Russia extend nuclear arms control treaty to 2026. The United States and Russia have finalized an agreement to extend until 2026 a treaty limiting their stockpiles of nuclear weapons. The new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, New START Treaty, which was due to expire on Friday, imposes limits on Russian and U.S. intercontinental missiles and bombers, but does not cover new types of weapons. Both Washington and Moscow cast the extension as a victory, saying it would provide stability and transparency on nuclear issues while acknowledging some of their disagreements.
CNN report. Oil companies are facing the moment of truth, the stakes couldn't be higher. The climate crisis and the coronavirus pandemic are rapidly dividing the titans of the oil industry into two camps. There are big consequences depending on which side they choose. One group is made up of European oil giants like BP, Shell, RDSA, and Total, which are trying to pivot away from oil and gas production and transform their companies. Then there are America's ExxonMobil, XOM, and Chevron, CVX, where executives are betting that oil demand will boom again after the pandemic despite global pressure to decarbonize the economy, reducing the need for dramatic overhauls.
Fox report. Accused Capitol rioter allowed to travel for Mexico, retreat. A Texas woman charged in connection with last month's siege at the U.S. Capitol has asked to be allowed to travel to Mexico for a weekend retreat, and the federal judge assigned to the case approved the request, court papers show. Attorneys for Jenny Louise Cudd asked a U.S. magistrate judge on Monday if she could travel to Riviera Maya, Mexico, from February 18 to February 21 because she planned and prepaid for a weekend retreat with her employees before the alleged crimes, court papers show.
BBC report. Mexican police officers arrested over migrant killings. The bodies of 19 people were found in a burnt-out vehicle near the U.S. border in Tamaulipas state on the 22nd of January. Most of the victims are believed to have been Central American migrants. Investigators think they were killed as part of a turf war between criminal gangs over control of migrant smuggling routes in the area. Tamaulipas State Attorney General Irving Barrios Mojica said the officers would be charged with murder and abuse of power.
Fox report. Burma formally charges ousted leader Suu Kyi. Police leveled their first formal charge against Burma's ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi, members of her party said Wednesday, giving military authorities who staged a coup a legal reason to detain her at least through the middle of the month. The charge, that Suu Kyi was in possession of illegally imported walkie-talkies, came to light 2 days after she was placed under house arrest and appeared to be an effort to lend a legal veneer to her detention, though the generals have previously kept her and others locked up for years.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.